Hello guys, welcome back again for a new video. We joined a new league called the CFA. They're currently in the season 2. It's the Chocolate Fountain Association. It's a league made by my brother and a friend of him, Jake. And I also know Jake a bit from a previous league. And yeah, they made a league a few weeks, 2 months ago. And for season 1 I was a bit busy. We still had the BCF going on then, so I decided not to join. But then the BCF came to an end, the SVL kind of broke up, and yeah, I didn't have any leagues at that point. And then season 2 came around, and my brother and I talked about it, and yeah, I definitely wanted to be in it. So I joined for season 2. Previously in season 1 they had 8 guys. And now unfortunately 2 guys had to drop out, and 2 guys including me joined, so we are again with 8 people. So keep that in mind when I'm going over the draft, because this is the draft analysis video, that the only 8 people draft, so that means generally the drafts are a lot better, and with counter picking, like when you see it at the first few rounds, almost all like everyone has picked 2 tier 1 mons or doesn't have the points for a tier 1 mon, because we draft with the GBA style and GBA tiers mostly. The fact is that, okay, then you can pick your tier 1 mon as your very last mon, because you can't get sniped anymore. And like this also can happen with like, oh, I need an electric type, but like everyone already has an electric type, so I can wait with my electric type to like one of the last rounds. So that makes that kind of makes the draft a bit more easier for your other picks to avoid some snipes. So yeah, let's just hop into this draft analysis video. It's the second time I had to record this. The first time I did it on Showdown and we went over all the moves and such, but I was thinking, yeah, I think almost everyone does it like this, and I tried to make something do it other way. So I thought, okay, I think this is the best way with this sort of presentation, and that way I can fill you in better about the roles each mon fit for my team and what they accomplish. And I think that's the most important part for draft analysis. So on to our first mon of the U4 Drapians, of course, our team. And the first mon I drafted was Jirachi. And I think I had the 2nd overall pick, and I knew the guy before me, that was Liam. I knew he went for Landorus Eye, so I knew what I wanted. Yeah, I could like pick every mon except Landorus Eye, and that would be my pick then. So I was looking and I was thinking of preparation, and I thought, oh, I still have my backup draft from the PCF of season 3. I kind of made the backup draft around a certain mon. You will later on see what mon that was. And yeah, that backup draft I how do you say it? I tweaked the backup draft to fit more my liking, to fit some mons that I have now already used, to try something else in their place. And overall I then came up with this draft, because at first I didn't really knew what I wanted, and I adjusted like the draft. During the draft I still adjusted my final draft plan, so that's yeah, we will get to that later on. But yeah, I didn't knew at the beginning what all the mons I wanted, because yeah, we were drafting over several days due to the time zones. But yeah, just my first round pick, it is Jirachi, because Jirachi is just so versatile. It immediately gives me a steel type, which is really important for a draft to have, I think. It's just a mon with base 100s across the board, and it can go offensive. It can also be more defensive. It has the wish, access to wish for healing purposes, and also healing wish support. There's a wide variety of move pool. You can run something like a lure set, and it gives me also a stealth rocker. It's a base 100. It has a base 100 speed, so it's also a nice speed stat to have, and it has the ability Serene Grace, so it has all the side effects double, so that makes like Iron Head and Hard Stamp the 60% chance to flinch, which is actually well known for, as I think many of you guys know. But yeah, overall I thought Jirachi was like a solid first round pick just because the versatility, the steel type, and yeah, that's why I picked Jirachi. So then I had to wait till everybody has, almost everyone had their first two picks, and then I kind of had to wheel pick going on from here because the only guy behind me was Liam, and then it was like I make a pick, Liam makes two picks, and then I make my pick. So like almost all mons I drafted were like in pairs, and it didn't really matter which one I drafted first from that pair. Only I had to take into consideration was Liam. So I looked at Liam's draft. Does he have one of these two roles? This mon fits. Does he have it already? If yes, then I know I can take it on the way back. If no, I know I need to take it immediately because he could snipe me. So then on to my next two picks. And those next two picks kind of complete the core I wanted to draft. That was also the plan for the backup draft. And these two mons were drafted for me by Liam because I was sleeping at the time, and it were the mons I wanted, but I thought maybe I should have waited with them because it was not that likely with these 8 people that they were going to be sniped. But on the other hand, they were two mons that I really wanted, so it's priority that you pick the mons you wanted first because yeah, they form like your core, like the mons you want for the draft. So first of all, this mon was my Mega mon, and this is Mega Gardevoir. Mega Gardevoir is just so strong. It's a special wall breaker of no swords. It has almost no switches. It's a really great fairy type, and I like to have a strong fairy type in my draft. And it also has wish and healing wish support if I want to be more of a support Gardevoir, even with Heal Bell. It has setup potential with Calm Mind. Also on the special side, it's still bulky because it still has 135 special defense. Its HP is a bit lackluster, but on the special side it can still take hits, and it just hits so hard with a base 165 special attack, and that combined with the pixelate ability, making normal type moves fairy types and give them a 1.3 power boost. So that makes Gardevoir such a really strong mon with also a base 100 speed, so its speed is still great. And yeah, I just wanted to really try out Mega Gardevoir for once, because yeah, it almost has no switches, and I think combined with in this team it really fits well. And in this part in the draft, I still wanted to go with like a draft that has like it still has mons that hit hard, but also mons that can take hits, and like this mix of bulky with bulk and offense together. I thought that would be the draft, but you'll see later on what the plan, if the plan changed or not. So then on to the mon that I drafted my team around, and that's my boy Crawdaunt, and I really love Crawdaunt. I just don't know why it's one of my favorite mons, and I really wanted to try it out in League type format. And I think in League type format it may be a bit underrated. It's a mon, yeah, you can prep for it, but it can still hit really hard. It's a dark water type, and it has access to stab knockoff, and knockoff got a really great boost this generation, and it's just one of the best moves out there. It knocks off items, and combine this also with its ability of that's adaptability, and that means that its stab becomes not 1.5 but 2 times the power. So it's just a really hard hitting one. You could say it's a great physical wall breaker, and it also has water stab. So those two really strong stab options. It also has a strong priority option in Aqua Jet, and on top of this, it can also just run setup. You can run Sword Stance to break those walls better, or you can even run Dragon Dance to yeah, get its speed up, because its speed is only base 55, which is not much, but it can with some speed investment outspeed most of the walls, and with 1 or 2 Dragon Dance up, it can outspeed most of the teams, and yeah, it can even clean up late game. It's not that bulky, it still has a base 85 defense, which is not that bad, but its HP and special defense are 63 and 55, which are not that strong. But yeah, its attack stat is just so strong, and that's the main one you're going to use. So at this point in time in the draft, what I knew was I was just looking to complete like mons to that fulfill the roles I wanted. But I also knew with what everyone else had already picked that I could save like my tier 1 mon for like the very last round, because like I think there's only one other guy that needed to pick a tier 1, and that was my brother. And we also, before the draft, we talked about what we wanted to draft, and I knew he wanted something completely different than me, so that would not be a problem. So that was really nice. So then for my next mon I drafted Salamence, and I was so happy that Salamence made it to me, because this was like a change. I had some of my other picks in mind, but Salamence was something that came up for me because I was looking to tier 2, and yeah, it's just so great for this team, I think, because it gives me a dragon type completing my Fairy Dragon Steel Core, and it's just a dragon type that is really offensive, and but also it still has a decent bulk option, so it also can be more of a bulky mon or even a defensive mon, because yeah, its attack stat is great, 135, its special attack stat is even 110, so you can even run special. It has a respectable speed of base 100, and then the other HP 95, also good, and then base 80 defense is also not bad, and that accompanied with its ability Intimidate, which drops the attack of the opponent by 1 stage. Yeah, that really helps him with walling physical threats. And for the offensive side, it also has offensive ability Moxie. When it gets a kill, it gets an attack raise. So 2 really nice abilities for this mon. It can, with Moxie, it can also be a great Scarfer, and it has some Roost, so when you run a defensive, it also can heal itself. And Defog means it can get rid of hazards, and I didn't have hazard removal at this point, so some week you may see Defog Salamence, which could be nice. It's also an EQ immunity because of its flying type, which is really great to have in your draft. And yeah, it can also set up with Dragon Dance, also making it a really scary, speedy, strong mon, and yeah, clean up the game. So I really like Salamence because it can do so many different things for my team, and that's why I think it was a great fit. And then what I noticed for my team, what I most of the time really like, is a strong hazard game. So I wanted a mon that could set up some spikes or T-spikes or both, and that's why in tier 3, for my first tier 3 pick, because I've now done my 2 tier 2s, tier 1 I knew I can save it for the last, I have my Mega, so then tier 3, that was Roserade. And Roserade, it also gives me a grass type, which is nice to have on your draft, but that was not the most important role. The most important role what that Roserade gave me was like spikes and toxic spikes setup. Most of the time you don't run both on Roserade, but you can. And besides spikes and toxic spikes, it also absorbs toxic spikes, which can be really nice if the opponent brings it. It's also that mon that hits really hard on the offensive side, because it has a 125 special attack stat, accompanied with a 90 base speed, which is not that bad. It can be a bit better, but still. And it has, yeah, it says defensive. It's not that defensive, but more bit bulky, especially on the special side, because it has a 105 special defense stat. Its HP and defense are not that great, but the special stuff, on the special side, it can definitely take hits. It's also can be a cleric with aromatherapy, and it's yeah, Scald was really looking to be scary for my team. So it's also a Scald absorber, because if it gets burned by a Scald, it has access to the natural cure ability, meaning that if it switch out, it heals itself from the status. It also has some other abilities like a Technician to boost like the hidden powers this mon can have to boost its offensive powers. So yeah, overall it was a really nice mon that really fitted like this offensive bit of offensive team I've had, but I knew with some bulky backbone was the thought, and I thought I would pick up some more bulk later on. But then there was like not a breaking point in the draft, but there was a point that I knew all those mons were planned out. From not the start, but like almost immediately after the start. But there was only one mon left on the board that I wanted for my plan, and after that I was still creating my last part of my plan. So I was looking, and I thought I had some options for the last few months, and there was one mon, and I will go later on, that I kind of wanted, but also I thought it wouldn't fit in with the team because I didn't have the room for that specific tier and for that specific mon. So I thought, okay, I don't think I can grab it up because it just doesn't fit somewhere in the team because I don't have room for it. So I decided to pick up the next mon first, even with back in my mind the chance that this mon would be sniped was so low, because I think almost everyone, everyone already had one electric type, but I still choose this mon because the rest of the draft plan was not set in stone yet. So I picked up, oh wait, I made a mistake. I first picked up Hitmonlee. That's the mon after this. Now I first picked up Hitmonlee, and I can go over this kind of quick because Hitmonlee, I dived into tier 4. Why? Because besides the Salamence, I didn't have hazard removal, and when I go like this hazard game with spikes, T-spikes, stealth rocks, I like to have a rapid spinner accompanied and not a defogger. And also Salamence is not a mon you want to have defog on every week. So I picked up Hitmonlee, which is in my opinion a great rapid spinner. It's really frail mon. It only has a base 50 HP stat and a base 53 defense stat, but still, like almost all my mons on the special side, it still has a 110 base special defense. So on the special side it can still take some hits, and a base 87 speed, not that bad. But mainly it's a rapid spin user, and rapid spin users most of the time lose to ghost types. But Hitmonlee has access to knockoff, so it can still hit ghost types really hard. It's the only Hitmon from the trio of Hitmonchan, Top and Lee that gets knockoff, which is really nice. And besides that, it's also the strongest of the three. It's a strong fighting type. It's also a physical wall break if you want it to be, because it has a base 120 attack stat. Combine that with its ability in Reckless, which makes a crash type or a recall type move stronger, like the high jump kick it has access to. And it also has another ability called Burden, and that's when you consume your item, it doubles its speed stat, meaning it can be like a late game cleaner, a late game sweeper in that regard with that ability. And yeah, there are some Burden sets out there, and I may play around with them. And also it has a strong priority game with Bullet Punch, but mainly the Stab Mag Punch. So overall, that's why Hitmonlee really fit my team, just for that hazard removal mainly, but also just a strong mon in general. And then the electric type came around that I mentioned, and that was Heliolisk. Heliolisk was my next tier 3 mon. And yeah, Heliolisk I just picked up because I wanted a fast electric type, and besides being a fast electric type, I also knew Roserade covers my bit of a Scald weakness, you could say. But Heliolisk also gives me a Scald immunity because it has the ability to Dry Escape. So that's why I really like Heliolisk as my fast electric type. It's the first mon that has over the base 100 speed. Here it says base 108, but as you can see it's base 109. So it's just behind the base 110. That's unfortunate, but still it's over the 100 mark, which is really nice. It also is a normal type, which means it also has a ghost immunity, and it's also nice to have on your team like a ghost immunity. And just from all the fast electric types and electric types in general out there, it has like the best coverage. It has like access to surf and grass, not for those ground types that most of the time stop the volt switch. That's the main move you want to click with your electric type. So it's just not a, this is definitely not a bulky offensive mon. This is just straight offense with base 109 special attack and speed. And then, so as I mentioned, now I was forming my draft plan, and this was like what I had in mind from the next few months was like, okay, I first of thought I would go more of the bit of more offensive, but still have some defensive backbone. That was the first thought. But then I made some plans and I was looking at the mons, the synergy and such, and then I decided together with my friend Anthony that yeah, what I could have picked up was like maybe 1 or 2 walls, but not that. It was not that great for the synergy, and also was not that great for this archetype I was creating. So I decided to go the offensive route and just almost go straight offense and just have mons that can take a hit and hit really hard. But most of the time these mons like a Salamence, it hits hard and it can take 1 hit, but you can't call it bulky offense. So it's just not a hyper offensive draft I made, but it's just an offensive draft. And yeah, this is definitely out of my comfort zone, and I will just try my best with it. I think I have to adjust my playstyle a bit, working really towards this 1 win con and how do I keep up the offensive pressure, that's such things. And I think it's definitely a great learning experience, and I think this league is greatly fit for this learning experience for me to try out this different playstyle. So the only thing the mon that I really like next was in tier 4 Cofagrigus. What Cofagrigus would give me, it's like a ghost type, because as I mentioned that the hazard game was really important, was a really important option I wanted for my team, and Cofagrigus is just a great spin blocker due to its ghost type. It's a mon that's really that most of the time functions as more of a bulky mon. It has not the best HP of 58, but it has a great defense stat of 145. It has a great special defense stat of 105. It's not really speedy, but it still also has offensive powers because it has base 95 special attack stat. And combine this with Nasty Plot and even Trick Room access that it has, like Trick Room can benefit some of my mons that are a bit slower than the rest. You see later on that there are more mons that are not that fast in my team, and also Nasty Plot makes this a scary offensive threat, and combined, so it's a really an offensive defensive mon, and just a great check to most of the scary mons out there, like the Mega Lopunny, like Mega Altaria, due to its Mummy ability. So if they hit him with a physical move, they get the Mummy ability. So it only was a physical Altaria, not special. But still, this would have been a great mon. But as I mentioned, this was the mon that I thought wouldn't really fit on my team in first instance. So I decided to, first I thought, okay, I won't draft it. But then on the last plan it was, okay, I kind of want this mon. And I already picked Heliolisk, and I was like, oh no, Heliolisk wouldn't get sniped, and this probably will. And yeah, it did get sniped by Jake. And this is really unfortunate that it happened, but yeah, it happened. So I went over and I went down a tier further. So in the end I left 20 points on the board, I think, due to this. But this was just a mon that was the best replacement possible for Cofagrigus in my mind, because that is Golurk. And Golurk is an other sort of mon that because it's more of a bulky offensive mon, it's not really that defensive. It has base 80 defensive, base 89 HP, but not that bulky that Cofagrigus was. But still, it's a spin blocker. It's also a ground type, it's Ghost Ground. 2 types that really benefit my team because it's a spin blocker and an electric immunity, both things I lacked on my team. Also an extra stealth rocker. The only stealth rocker I had at this time was Jirachi, so that's really nice. There's 2 fantastic abilities with Iron Fist, boosting all the punch moves it gets, like Shadow Punch, Thunder Punch, Ice Punch and Fire Punch, and no guard, so it doesn't miss like the Stone Edges and Dynamic Punch access it has, which are like great options. So overall for tier 5 I really like Golurk on my team. But it's not Cofagrigus, but yeah, you can't get everything you want. So next on the board, after Golurk, I kinda knew All the other mons probably won't get sniped because nobody would really have an eye on those mons. But I think for my team they were kind of crucial, especially the next mon being Leavanny. And Leavanny was kind of crucial for me because it has sticky webs, and then kind of knew with this team I needed a sticky web user from tier 5 because I have some scary threats like Mega Gardevoir and like Crawdaunt. But those threats really become really big threats with sticky web access, because yeah, over everything above the base 100s outspeed my Gardevoir. My team is not that fast, so it's just nice to have sticky webs to slow those mons down, and especially for Crawdaunt with only base 55 speed, it's really nice that everything is slowed down. So after one Dragon Dance it like outspeeds everything, and even outspeeds most of the things without a Dragon Dance. And from the sticky webs that were out there, Leavanny just had the best stats. You can see Leavanny stats there, they are really decent. Its speed is still good at 92. It has an attack stat of 103, which is really nice, but overall it's more of a utility mon for me. The sticky webs is the most important thing, and other than that it also has knockoff access, so it can knock off some items in the process, and it even has access to heal bell, which can also be nice in certain cases. So then the last two picks, they are like a duo, and it's a really common duo. And yeah, I think some people may know him as Colin, some people know him as Waffles, but it's the one true god, Stoutland. And I really love Stoutland. Stoutland is a tier 5 mon, and he's a tier 5 mon for a reason. If you look at his stats, its attack stat is good, 110. It's defensive, 90, base 85 HP, not that bad. Base 80 speed, it's not the greatest, especially for this kind of mon. Special attack stat, yeah, not relevant. But yeah, it's a tier 5 mon. But combined with Sand, it really becomes a great mon, because it becomes really a late game cleaner then due to Sand Rush. And Sand Rush makes that its speed is doubled in the sand. So that means it like outspeeds every mon. It can easily outspeed Scarfers, and this really makes it a great late game cleaner. And it can also act as a physical wall breaker with like a choice band set, especially, and if you combine it with Sand Rush and choice band, it just really nukes teams straight up. And it's other normal type, an other ghost immunity, and it also has an access to another ability that's Intimidate. If I want to have a more of a bulky Stoutland, I may bring this one time, but most of the time I think it will be the Sand Rush cleaner slash sweeper Stoutland, which yeah, really puts holes in teams or just cleans up games. But you may be thinking, okay, you picked up Stoutland, but where's your sand access? Do you want to run manual sand with it? But no, my last mon is a tier 1 mon, and that is Tyranitar. And this is the sand stream, the sand setter for the Stoutland. And yeah, Tyranitar is one of those mons that I think is just so great in league type format. It can be really great. You have to use it right. But it is, if you look at its stats, first up, it has, if you look at its defensive, base 100 HP, base 100 special defense, combined with base 110 defense, it has great defensive stats. Attack, base 134, really great. Special attack, 95, still respectable. Only its speed's a bit lackluster in 61, but overall this is a mon with great stats, and it can really be an offensive mon, even on both sides. It can be defensive on both sides, especially that with Sandstream boosting its special defense stat due to the sand. And it's a dark rock type, which means it has stab pursuit. It's a really great pursuit user. It has stab stone edge rock type. In general, it's a great offensive type, and combine this with dark, it really becomes scary. It's a great physical wall breaker. It's another stealth rocker, my third stealth rocker, which is really nice, so I can vary between my rockers. It is a potential Scarfer. It's commonly known as a Scarfer. It's also known as a choice band user, as that physical wall breaker. On the offensive side, you can also run Setup with Dragon Dance or Rock Polish to boost its attack and speed, or only its speed, because that's the main thing that's lacking. I think overall Tyranitar is just a great mon, and yeah, Tyranitar is one of those mons that's just so versatile. I really wanted to try it out in the format, and I'm really happy that I picked it up. So then this made the team complete. And you will see here the final team. Those are all the mons on the team. As you can see, there's not much bulk there. There are some mons that can definitely take a hit. It's mainly an offensive team. And as mentioned, it's something new for me. It's something I have to try out. It's something I have to learn. But I think, I hope, and I think after the first few weeks, I can get a grasp of this team really good, and then I hope that this team leads me to my first real championship. I have been in some finals, never was able to win them. Also have been undefeated for a season. That league fell apart just before playoffs. That happens, but maybe this will be the first title, and I really hope so. And I think the mons are there. They can really, if I can make them work, I think they really can push the opponents down and just force a win, to say, because if I don't give my opponent any momentum, I can easily make this team like so scary for opponents to prep for and to play against. But yeah, as I've mentioned so many times, it will be quite a learning experience, and I definitely have to see how this will go. But enough of me rambling on, because I feel like I've been rambling on quite a lot in this video. So with that in mind, bye guys.